Sad chord, happy chord, back to a sad chord, happy chord, back to a sad chord, happy chord, sad chord, happy chord.
I love the way when Dan does happy chord, sad chord, he can manage complex chords that are sad and happy, whereas I have to just stick with E minor and A minor, and indeed their relative majors.
But that makes my happy chord sad when I do that.
Hello,
So
everyone.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to That Pedal Show. Viewers, comments and questions.
Oh, I think you might have just got it right in the ear hole then.
Right. Yeah.
I just don't know why we have these weird... One week we'll sort it out why the audio is so weird.
Right.
But not this week. So hopefully you can hear us. Welcome.
Yes, welcome indeed.
For those of you who don't know, we do this every Monday, or at least every Monday that we are able to do it. And it's a live comments and questions session. Many of you are regulars. Welcome to our regulars. We'll do a roll call in a minute. And for those of you who are new, that's the way it goes. We prioritise the super chats. We do dive into the other chat sometimes as well, but we do prioritise the super chat. Firstly, I want to say thank you to everyone who's gone to thatpedalshop.com from the US this weekend.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you, everyone. It's been wonderful.
Thatpedalshop.com launched on Tuesday, and we haven't really made a big fanfare of it just yet. We just want to, ease into it. As you will know, big fanfares aren't really the TPS way. So thanks. If you've been there and bought something, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Likewise, everyone who's been to that Pedal Show store this week and bought holiday shirts and other stuff, it is indeed the season to be shopping.
Very good. We've had some really good suggestions for naming the reindeer. There's Gaindeer, Gain Gear. There's a whole bunch of them. But yes, very good. Really like these, and I'm going to wear this all year round.
Nice.
To celebrate.
Good.
How
I like
happy I
it.
am with this t-shirt.
Pet Moxie says, afternoon all. It soon comes around. It flipping well does.
Man, cannot believe it.
Races around. It's funny. What was I doing the other day? Watching the leaves fall off the tree in strong wind. We live in an area where there's lots of trees, so there's it's Leaf-mageddon at this time of year, and I was just contemplating, Dan, this little trip round the sun we do every 365 days, making things like leaves fall off and me having to operate the leaf blower.
We planted 2 apple trees.
Nice.
About 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And
got any apples yet?
They were quite pathetic.
Yeah.
When they went in, and now they're really pathetic with no leaves.
Right.
So they haven't grown or anything.
Yeah.
And the 7 leaves they had on just went, yeah. So it's just we've planted twigs basically.
Wait till the spring, mate.
Amazing.
It's like magic. Anyway, big thanks to BV as always for moderating today.
Yes, thank you, BV.
And whipping it up in the comments section there. Thanks so much, BV. We massively appreciate everything you do for us.
Yes.
Who else we got on? Wes Chilton. We've got David Blackmon. Her, he says. Moon. Daniel Herbert. Marcus is on. Marcus Reeves. Marcus, we are trying to sort a date out. We are having problems. Dan's got all his famous friends coming around. Michael Gilberto. Hi, Michael. Alistair Tweedy. Gregory Lutz. Iron Wolf 7076. Telecaster. Hi. Lulu has fun.
I heard she has fun.
We've got lots of people on.
Indeed.
Brog Doggy, Todd Roy. Todd Roy from Nova Scotia. Hello, Todd.
Chris Groom, is that hi from Swindon or help from Swindon? to
Zoot Allure from Long Island, New York. Start spreading the news, which is nothing to do with Long Island, but anyway.
I had a weekend of listening to Tony Bennett.
Did you? Nice.
Just
Christmas songs?
No, just we had some friends over Saturday night. I went, just Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett, and it ended up being mostly Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
We were decorating our festive tree yesterday. Don't normally allow that before December, but the weekend has fallen in such a way that it made sense to do it
Yeah, we did as well.
yesterday. Anyway, stuck on a Apple Music playlist, crooners, and as you say, up comes Frank and Tony Bennett and various awesome crooners down the years. And there's one I'm like, wow, that's really good. Check the list. It's Seth MacFarlane.
Far out. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. A Family Guy fame, if you don't know. What a killer singer that guy is.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Do you have Christmas tree traditions?
Usually involves alcohol, a tree. And that's about it, really.
We while the kids are decorating the tree, we watch Elf.
Oh,
every
nice.
year without fail, and it's the start of the whole Christmas thing. It's really lovely.
How lovely.
Yeah, really great.
Yeah, I would have an OCD breakdown if a child decorated my tree. It's bad enough having Catherine do it.
Oh, the kids do it while
Yeah.
they're asleep. Teen goes and shuffles everything.
Shovels everything
That's
around,
right,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we love them, but there's a line.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the minimalist tree with, just
tree.
a stick. That's my thing, really. But Catherine is a fan of the everything on the tree. We buy new things every year.
Okay,
And it's not. Even I am beginning to enjoy it.
lovely.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So if anyone else has been doing that this weekend, hope you had a lovely time and felt the warmth and joy of coming together and community spirit
Yeah.
in the seasonal manner.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it was Thanksgiving in the US as well. So
Yes, it was.
hope you've
Hope
having a
hope
lovely
you had
weekend.
a wonderful, wonderful time.
Yeah. It's funny, you forgive us, Thanksgiving doesn't happen here, so sometimes it's a bit of an afterthought for us, but
We give thanks every day.
we know it's a big deal for you guys, so hope you're having a good one and had a good one. Whew. Right then. Hope, Indiana, says John Q. He's from Hope, Indiana.
Till the morning comes. Hope, Indiana. Hope, Indiana. Till the morning comes.
Is that Joanna?
I don't know.
Yeah, I've started calling Catherine Joanna Jobs. Steve's sister.
Joanna Jobs.
Malcolm's on. Hello, Malcolm. Wild West Wiltshire. Did you know that according to Wikipedia, Taylor Swift's ancestors are from Tisbury? Tisbury's where Malcolm lives. Malcolm's SG is down there, which we will have on the show at some point. Hi, Malcolm. That's really good to know. I always thought there should be a village next to Tisbury called Taintbury.
Very good. Oh, before I forget, massive thank you to everyone that joined us for the Experience Day on
Yeah.
Friday.
Thank you, guys, if
What
any
a
of you are
great,
on tonight.
really wonderful day. So thank you all. It was really,
Yeah.
really wonderful.
It was our second one, and it was another voyage of discovery and really great fun.
Yeah,
I think everyone enjoyed it. We
Yeah.
certainly did.
yeah, it's really great.
Yeah,
Really
nice,
great.
nice. I learned something. Well, I was reminded of something. Got to say thank you to one of the Danny P's. How could it be true? We had 2 people out of 6 called Danny P on. And one of the Danny P's brought in a nice 61 refin Strat. And he was sat here playing it, and I was messing around with some pedals while he was getting a sound up. And I was like, what's going on with that neck pickup then? That sounds pretty spectacular. And he says, oh, it's the original neck pickup, but the tone pot isn't connected.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know this. Matt Schofield does it. Dan does it. Lots of people do it. I've never done it. So,
Do it.
vlog upcoming.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and thanks to Danny. Thanks to both Dannys for coming.
Yeah.
And everyone else.
Yeah, it's great fun.
Right, shall we get into it, Daniel?
Let's do it.
Into the old chat du super
Yes.
for all of those people who speak Swahili.
Let's speak TPS.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Quite a lot.
Wow. Okay.
Right. Steve Mass is the first on today. Steve Mass. He says, new guitar day, NGD. What joy.
They're great days. They're great days.
Dan's got one coming up
I
soon.
do.
He's got a Player Plus Nashville Telecaster I'm a metal guy, but I need single coils at times.
Yes.
Fender finally hit a spec I like with a 12-inch radius, lock-in tuners, Saturn neck, 3 pickups. This is Dan's fault.
I'm happy to be the bridge that gap
Yeah.
for anyone to discover a Telecaster. It brings me much joy. That will be a wonderful guitar for you. And I think if you're playing heavier styles and you're discovering the bridge pickup on a Telecaster, you are in for a whole new world of joy.
Yeah.
And so enjoy it. It's wonderful.
There is a school of thought that says, you know, Teles don't do heavy, or you need humbuckers for that kind of stuff. Teles are so good at that. So good at that.
Yep.
Enjoy.
Yep.
Enjoy, Steve. Alistair Tweedy. Hi, Alistair.
Hey, Alistair.
He says, Dan, I'm a massive fan of your fellow Aussie, Chris Cheney from The Living End.
Right.
I can't afford a Gretsch White Falcon, so I'm looking for something entry level. Do you have any advice? I'm new to the hollow body game.
Yeah, Chris Cheney, for anyone that doesn't know, amazing sort of heavy rockabilly style guitar player, but like really authentic. So I remember seeing Living End where they were like very punk, but still with the upright bass and stuff.
Yep.
And but he is the most phenomenal guitar player. Actually, my old drummer, Paul Wheeler, who I did Max Sharam with, and Paul plays in a band called Ice House in Australia, and he does gigs with Living End from time to time as well.
Nice.
And yes, so Chris Cheney, amazing guitar player, but that really authentic rockabilly sound of the White Falcons, all the you know
Authentic 200-watt Wizard amps.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
So right, if you're getting into that stuff, some
Gretsch Electromatic.
Gretsch
range.
Electromatic, check that out because it's fantastic. Now, you may want a pickup upgrade. However, the stock pickups that are in there are great to get started, but it's a fantastic guitar. Even to a point where the Gretsch that I've got, it sounds wonderful, but there's something about that Electromatic. I don't even know if it's the it's the vibe.
Dan's got a Player Series double anniversary American one. Sorry, Japanese one. I have an Electromatic double cutaway, which you might say is in the Falcon style. It does come as a single cut as well, and they keep upgrading them all the time, and they're really great guitars for the money.
Yeah.
And as you can
Comes
hear,
tuned,
it
just
comes
like that.
perfectly in tune. Oh. If you tune it, it does sound good. I did a vlog on it actually, swapping the pickups out in it. If you want to watch that, but I if you want Gretsch, just don't look past that.
So, one thing I would say about the Gretsch guitars as well. So I bought years and years ago. I wanted a Gretsch, but I wanted a Gretsch that stayed in tune and played beautifully and was really slick. And I bought a double cutaway
Duesenberg
Star Player TV. Amazing guitar, and I used it for ages. Fantastic, but it's not a Gretsch. Gretches sound like Gretches. Same way Marshalls sounds like Marshalls. Fenders sound like Fenders. The Gretches sound like Gretches. So that's really great place to start.
If you are really new to hollow bodies and you're coming from something like, let's say you're into heavy music and you're into like a more modern guitar, a good stepping stone is they also do a semi-hollow version, so a centre block version constructed in a similar way to a 335 style guitar. So instead of being whatever it is 2 3/4 inches thick, completely hollow, it's thinner and it's got a centre block. So the Electromatic centre block are worth a look. There is a range below that as well called the name evades me, but they're pretty cool too. Duesenberg, I think again, if you're like me and Dan and you like guitars more like farm machinery, then Gretsch will really appeal to you, especially with the Bigsby. If you are a bit more modern and you like guitars to be a bit more sleek and easy to play and all that, you might prefer to go to the Duesenberg route. But I personally am a big fan of the farm machinery route when it comes to guitars.
Yep.
Tele Strats, old stuff with quirks.
Agreed.
So yeah, good luck.
Yep, good luck.
Wes Chilton. Hi, Wes.
Hey, Wes.
Love the Friday jams.
Ah, thank you, mate.
Thanks, Wes. I'm a delay pedal junkie, so this really hit the mark, especially like how the rhythm section left space for Dan to do his thing with the long delays. Well done.
I guess, but the same with like when you add any texture like that, the rest of the band have got to be listening and sensitive to what's going on. That makes a difference with any of that sort of textural stuff.
We do have a slight ulterior motive with the band shows, Wes, and that is what will become apparent is that the sound is much less important than what you actually play in the band. And I think a lot of people who've got problems with the sound clashing in the band is because they're not playing as a band. They're all playing as individuals and trying to play over one another. One of the great things about a three-piece is you can do exactly what you just said. You can leave so much room.
Yeah.
And I always think that about obviously if you're in a band that's got tons of layers and I don't know, whatever, then you can't leave all that empty space. But basic normal rock and pop music, it is astounding if you just listen to the verses. What you're predominantly hearing is bass, drums, vocal, and then some stuff here and there. It's not like
the first experience I had with
time.
that was in Sydney in the 90s with Jamiroquai.
Right.
He was there with an 11-piece band. Most of the time, there's 3 of them playing.
That sounds like an expensive gig for me.
But they would when they needed to be there, it's like wow. Yeah. But then it's verses and stuff, and they'd strip right back. It's like, and there was so much space.
It hit home to me when I was getting a bit grumpy with our loud band because we were just we were doing exactly what I just said. We were all playing for ourselves. We were all way too loud. It was all about everything, and I just got a bit grumpy with it because I couldn't hear myself sing and all of that. So we did some acoustic gigs. We kept the bass and drums as they were more or less, but we either went down to 2 or 1 acoustic guitars and rearranged a load of the songs for smaller shows. And actually the space that gave us for vocal and just for actually performing the song was astonishing. I'm a big fan of it. So thank you for noticing that, Wes, and hopefully we can do a great deal more of that in coming.
Yeah, that is the plan.
Yeah, it was good. We enjoyed it. Kelvin Mack. Hello, Kelvin.
Hello, Kelvin.
Guys, I played my first Tele and vintage spec guitar, an American Vintage 52. Bought it for 1,600 Canadian dollars. Amazing guitar. What are some iconic Tele riffs you guys love?
Oh boy, that's a great question. Killing in the Name of. One.
Is that a Tele?
Well, he plays a Tele in the video clip of it. I think it is.
Oh, yeah, wouldn't be on my list, but I mean, great riff, but as an iconic Tele riff, it probably wouldn't be.
No, so my first experience of an iconic Tele riff was I was backstage at I've told the story many times, Status Quo, and hearing these guitars and going, just fattest guitar sound I'd ever heard. And I thought, man, Les Pauls and stuff went out Teles. And just hearing those guys do that stuff. So any Quo, any of those classic riffs are amazing.
Stones.
Yeah, Stones.
Check out some Stones. Although I'm never quite sure whether it's a Junior or a Tele when it's the Stones.
Yeah.
Can sound surprisingly similar depending on where your business is set.
Yeah. And then
Mike Campbell, I guess.
Yeah.
Tom Petty's stuff. Basically, any open G, C, D, E minor, A minor Americana song will work on a Tele.
Yeah.
And make you really happy.
Yeah. I mean, go and check out Bruce Springsteen.
Oh yeah, Spruce Sprinkling.
Yeah. But well done. Congratulations. Have fun. That's really cool.
It
really
is.
Cool.
It's very weird how your mic is peaking, Daniel.
I'm excited.
I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
We've got loads of super chats coming in, which is wonderful. Let's just keep an eye on it.
We might have to shut it off. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got to shut the super chats off so that we get through them all. So anyone who has super chatted, we will answer you. Anyone who hasn't, please don't.
So Matt Comtois says, early Tom Morello drop D songs are all on his Tele. There you go. Wonderful.
Tom knew what was going on.
Yeah, he really did. He's so cool. I watched this. What was the other band that Tom Morello was in? With
The Night Watchman.
With the singer from the new originals. Anyway, there's this live thing. I think it's from Glastonbury.
Is he an audio slave?
Audio Slave. That's the one. Seeing him do that stuff live, his time is the best time of any guitar player in that sort of thing I've ever heard. Is like all that sort of almost scratching stuff he does with the pickup selector. He's phenomenal. An absolute phenomenal guitar player.
Nice.
Would love to have him on the show. Audio Slave, yes. Thanks, Connor. And Daniel.
Plexico.
And Marty.
Greetings, MD. What are your thoughts on the Moga Foga?
Moiga Foiga.
Moga Foga. MD 104 delay variants. More importantly, what's on your Christmas list?
So, for anyone that doesn't know, so Moga Foga have done...
Moiga
Foiga have released a load of different delay pedal variants. And my favourite they did was they released a white one. My friend got it. It sounds amazing. I think I've always really loved their stuff. They are so particular about, the stuff they use to build their pedals, and if there's they'll explore using different chipsets and stuff, and they'll release a variant. But yeah, I think they're great, and I think they all sound fantastic. More importantly, some you'll gravitate towards, and some others you won't. But yeah, all of their stuff. I haven't played a single pedal of theirs that I haven't really liked. Actually, when I was doing Stephen Wilson's board years ago and looking for a tremolo pedal that was a little bit off the beaten track, and found the Moiga, and it's
Fagger.
and it just had a really interesting wave shape and stuff, and it's like perfect. So really great stuff.
If you're talking about authentic and highly credible analog circuits, Moga's right up there.
Really, really great.
Given all the synth work they've done down the years. And so some of the pedals are big and expensive, but they did the MF series as well, which was smaller and less expensive. And they were fantastic. I don't think they do, well, if they do them now, they're not as available as they were, or they discontinued some. But if you see them on Reverb, buy them. They're really, really great sounding things. The delay, no exception. Really lovely analog delay. Cyril Zupan says, crazy little thing called Love, of course, on the telly.
Was it really?
Oh, come on, you must have seen the video. And the solo.
I didn't realise he'd ever played anything not on his red guitar. Squeedin' out, scoop, squeedly doo doo, squeedoo doo.
Well, Freddie put the telly on as well. I don't know if he played it, but anyway, there we are. What else have we got here? Purple Rain, says Chris Groom. Don't forget Led Zeppelin and dear old Jimmy Page, says Stanislav Migra.
Of course.
Yeah, it's so funny whenever you talk about tellies and Led Zeppelin, it starts with, of course, Led Zeppelin 1 was all on a telly, and then it ends up with everything Jimmy Page ever played was a telly. And neither of those things are strictly true, I don't think. But
right. But there's that old saying that no guitar ever sold more Les Pauls than Jimmy Page's Telecaster.
Yeah, nice. Actually, on a tangent, I do feel like a really nice vintage spec Tele and Les Paul can sound remarkably similar through certain amps with certain settings.
Sure.
Just because a lot of those old burst era Les Pauls, some of them were so light sounding in comparison to the massive sledgehammers. The Gold Top here is a really great example. Not that it's an original one, but as a new one, it's a remarkably light sounding guitar.
Yep.
So anyway, let's move along. Andy Summers says Lee Tintle. Police Riffs.
Of course.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, good. Just seeing if we had any others.
Well, you've got
Steve Cropper.
Steve, of course, yeah.
So much of the soul stuff that he played on. Try some mid position for all of that.
What are they called? The
Mises.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff Buckley.
Tom Petty. Yeah,
Of course.
I think we talked about him.
Yep.
Anyway, good. Right. Daniel Herbert. Hello, Daniel. He says, happy Monday, leg excellences. Shout
you.
to Red Panda Lab. I got to visit their workshop last weekend. Had a blast seeing how the magic gets made and playing too.
Wow.
Thanks again to Kurt.
So I used their tensor for a long time. Man, that's the one I did all the stretchy tape stuff with at the start of
Yeah,
Shine On. So clever.
it's very cool.
So
Was it
so
called
clever.
Summit 5? Was it? No, that was the
No,
one that
no,
Joey
that-
uses, count to 5.
That's the count to 5. No, that was the tensor.
Yeah.
The Red Panda tensor.
Red Panda Tensor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really great.
Carl Longbottom's on. Hello, Carl.
Hey, Carl.
He says, evening, gents. I've booked a stand at the guitar show in Birmingham. Now I'm in need of a good sounding headphone solution. Simple and that will take pedals well. Any suggestions are greatly appreciated. Dan's going to lend you a new Neighbour Iconoclast is how that's going to go.
Okay, I can make that happen.
Yeah, or we'll lend you our Strymon Iridium. Either of those will work. If you want to buy one, go ahead. But if you don't, we will happily lend you one.
Yep.
Seeing as you've been so kind to us, Carl, down the months.
Actually, Carl's new website is up.
Nice.
CarlLongbottomGuitars.com, I believe.
Yeah.
And all his works of art are on there.
Get there.
Yeah, very cool.
Check it.
Yeah.
Michael Gilberto. Hello, Michael. No question today. Thanks for a fine show last Friday and continued best wishes from Old Saybrook, Connecticut.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Leg ends. Actually, he just says lads. What's going on, Phil? Phil Sherry. Have you watched the amazing Get Back documentary yet? What did you make of it? And when is the Gear of the Beatles episode coming up?
So I am purposefully not looking at any information about the doc. I don't want to talk to anyone about it. I don't want to hear about it. I'm going to wait. So basically, now until the 23rd of December, for me, is a sprint.
Yeah.
And I've, like, my head, Beatles are very important to most musicians, certainly myself and Mick. And I need to be in the right place. I don't have any stress around me. I don't have to do anything. I'm going to, get the surround sound on the stereo, sit down and watch it properly. So I hear amazing things, but I'd like, it's great. Don't tell me anything about it.
Same.
Yeah,
I'm
just
saving
give
it.
me-
Saving it up for when there's some time.
Yeah. It's so important. It's
And
so
I can't
important.
wait. I cannot wait.
I saw a quick thing with Peter Jackson on it, and he just asked it quickly, and I'm like, I really wanted to, but like, no, just once I've watched it, I'll then go back and watch what everyone going on about it.
Yeah.
But I want to just wait.
I'm going to wait for it to come out on Laserdisc, obviously.
On Laserdisc.
No doubt you've seen it, Phil, and you loved it. I hope you did. Yeah, can't wait to watch it.
Yep.
Can't wait to.
It's like if
get
you're into
back and watch
sport, right, and you miss the live thing,
Yeah.
and you don't want to talk to anyone about it. You want
Yeah.
to get home and watch what you've recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. Harrison. Hello, Harrison.
Hello, Harrison.
He says, I followed your advice from last week. I took my Strat to get a proper setup and fret job. The bridge pickup is now wired to the tone pot, and I could not be happier.
Well done, mate. Yeah.
It's funny, actually, on the experience day, 2 people brought Strats in, I think. One was Danny P1, or Danny P2, doesn't matter. Danny PA or B. Suggests a preference level. There isn't one.
Could just say Danny one.
Yeah.
We don't need to do the P because they're both P.
Yeah, it cancels.
It does.
Yeah. I mean, there's an algebraic.
Could just say 1
Yeah,
and 2.
yeah. Well, no, because that again implies an order. One of the Danny P's brought in a Refin 61, and
Very silly.
oh, sorry, now my mind's gone blank. And somebody else, who was Lee brought in a really lovely, what I think is a 59 custom shop, and both of them knocked the absolute socks off blue.
Right.
As far as Strats go. So I spent most of the weekend thinking about a nice custom shop Strat again, or even an old one. Anyway,
No, I think would you get Next year?
The
Next year we're finding you an old
find
Strat.
an old one. They're just I won't pay the money at the moment, Dan. They're silly. They're silly.
We'll find.
They're obscene.
We'll find a player's 61 Strat. We'll find it.
What I liked about it, actually, I picked it up and he said it's 61. I'm like, it's late 61, isn't it? He's like, how do you know that? I'm like, the shape of the neck.
He was like, Mick, amazing.
Well, I don't know. It was a lucky guess, but it was November.
Rob Rule says Danny 1 and Danny A.
Danny what?
Danny 1, Danny A.
Oh, Danny 1 and Danny A. I like it.
Yeah, very good.
Anyway, the point is, I think one of the reasons they both felt so much nicer than Blues because they were both set up really nice. Back to your point, Harrison, and then maybe it's time for Blue to have a bit more TLC again.
Well, it's the nature of wood, isn't it?
It is.
Moves around.
Yeah. Iron Wolf 1776.
That's great.
Sounds like a beer or something, doesn't it? That?
Iron Wolf.
Yeah.
This weekend, Iron Wolf IPA. The beer with bite.
Yeah. The beer with a iron metal bite. No, anyway. Hello from Boise, he says. Boise, Idaho. Boise, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho, yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Marlene. If you don't get that, there was a famous thing in the UK called Only Fools and Horses. And there was a character on that called Boise. Actually, the actor died recently.
He did die
but his catchphrase was, his wife was called Marlene, and he would say things like, "Oh no, Marlene," or "Hello, Marlene," etc. That was way too much information that you needed to know. He says, anyway, apparently Boise, Idaho, is home of the Smurf turf. I'm loving my new Strat. Going to try a brass tone block. Go for it. It's very interesting, actually, using different metals for the old block. They do change the sound of the guitar.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got my Junior, and so where's my Junior? There it is. Junior is the most simple guitar ever made, right? So there's the tailpiece is the bridge, and there's no. Later they did the lightning bolt one, which gave ridges to where the strings would be, but on the original one, there's nothing of the sort. So I'll quickly show you this. So there we go, that tailpiece. Just a wrap over round tailpiece, and I thought I'll try some bridges out that have got, for better intonation. Tried a bunch out. I was stunned at how different the guitar sounded. It makes a big difference.
But didn't you know it's only the pickup that makes the guitar sound different?
Yeah, wood doesn't.
None
make
of that
it,
other stuff makes any difference, Dan. Not a sausage.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on. Tom Bromby. Hi, Tom. He says, Dan, I recently changed to a wet-dry rig with 1 amp fully dry and all the drives, etc. to the second amp. Amazing. Thank you for the inspiration. I'm wondering how you deal with fuzzes in that setup.
Okay. My fuzz. So the wet dry, I have my standard wet dry sounds, but then I have sounds where, like for example, the Mercury 7 has got this amazing swell function. And so I'll have a certain sound that will join them up at the end, and everything goes to the Mercury 7 just to get that lovely swell stuff going. And then I have sounds where it's split after the fuzz, so the fuzz goes to both amplifiers. So I know what you mean, because what happens with the fuzz, because the fuzz is so compressed, and what you'll get with your completely dry amplifier is you'll get all those transients, and they will poke their head above the fuzz, and it can be tricky. However, the great thing about fuzz is they will work really well with that completely non-affected amplifier. The other important thing to remember about fuzz is all my favourite fuzz tones isn't with the fuzz completely cranked. Backing off the fuzz a little bit so you've got dynamics. And you'll find that works a treat, and then split after that.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, you've got to send the fuzz to the higher headroom amp, because if it only hits the overdriving amp, you'll
It's
get
so
these weird
compressed.
transients.
Yeah.
So your choice is only to the high headroom amp or to both, and in that sense, you may as well go to both.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily. If you
Depends
want,
on
if you want to keep your standard core overdrive sound just as it is.
Yeah, it's like if that dry amp is limiting, that can work great. But try it both ways. Try fuzz just to the clean amp, or fuzz going to both the dry amp, or fuzz both the dry and wet amp.
But if you put it only in the amp that's overdriving a bit and not in the higher headroom amp,
You'll have issues.
You won't hear the fuzz that much probably, or it'll just sound like this sort of fuzzy thing trying to get in. Whereas the more headroomy amp will be doing loads more work. Interestingly, when we did the experience day on Friday, I had a nice board set up with loads of sexy stuff on it. All the fuzzes sounded rubbish. They just weren't working with that board. Everything, Dan Drive, Analog Man. The only thing that sounded half decent was my blue fuzz face, and everything else was like, it's just not working today. And that is the flipping annoyance of fuzz.
Because other days it'll just
it's just
epic.
glorious. Yeah, it is. I wonder if, I don't know if there is a way we can, but I think a lot of people have a similar experience where it's like, glory. Oh.
Yeah.
Actually, the Royal Tone yellow thing sounded pretty good. BAE, that was pretty good.
So that's your really tweaked tone bender.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, it's not mine, but
British audio engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very clever.
Yep. Really, really nice. Good luck.
Groovy.
Nina Head DJ. Hello, Nina Head DJ. Hi, gents. Hi, got me vowels mixed up there. Hi, gents. Dan, you're a good influence. I've been in love with the sound of early 60s Tele since I started playing. And last week scored my dream guitar. Get this, an all-original 64 Esquire in blonde.
Wow.
What a guitar.
Wow.
He says, thanks for the inspiration.
You're welcome. That's amazing.
Nice.
Well done.
Enjoy that.
What's Alan Hines? His Esquire, I think it's an early one.
Looks like a 50s one to me.
Yeah. But I love the sounds he gets from his Esquire. It's just he's phenomenal. But they're
player.
such great guitars. There's quite a bit of footage out there of Billy Gibbons playing Esquires live on a few bits and pieces. Oh my word, the sounds he gets out of it.
I can only
Remarkable.
assume that LaGrange and the breakdown. I can only assume that's an Esquire.
Right.
Because it's so like. It sounds like a top loader as well.
Right.
To me, anyone out there may know different. Let us know. We'll keep an eye on the
He did
comments.
that in his acoustic.
Yeah. No, I think you'll find it was actually a Gibson ES175 on the neck pickup with wool strings. Rowan Freeman says, hi Mick and Dan, no question, just wanted to say I've really enjoyed the newish direction with the band context videos.
This is our new direction.
Yeah.
Hope you like it.
He wrote this.
Mick Taylor on the bass. He wrote this. I'm not playing some sort of free-form jazz exploration in front of a festival crowd.
Thank you, Rowan. We really love it, actually. We really love doing it. Not just because we think it's useful as a format for shows, but actually it's quite necessary for me and Dan to be playing something approaching music every now and again.
Yeah.
Which is something neither of us have really done for ages. So it's great therapy for us too. And if we can wind that into some useful information or inspiration, then happy days. They will be the lowest videos we put out, unfortunately, but that's the nature of the beast.
The last few videos. Yeah.
Well, for the simple fact that the vast majority of people who play the guitar don't play in bands. I mean,
yeah, but I think, A, it gives context, but B, it's just fun.
if
It's just
it
so
inspires
much fun.
one person who hasn't played in a band to go and play in a band, that's job done.
Yeah, definitely.
Ched Head. Evening, chaps, says Ched Head. It's a bit chilly in Shedshire.
Oh, man. Chilly everywhere.
Dan feels it.
Oh. I get
Australian
so
bones,
cold.
you see. Naganud. Dan, what's the name of the colour on your 65 Tele and why doesn't Fender seem to make it anymore? I've never been a Tele guy, but that guitar is changing my mind.
Oh. What would you call it?
It's blonde,
Blonde.
but it's aged blonde.
Yeah.
So it's kind of yellow. Blonde changed a lot over the years, and then they did various whites, and then they did a couple of yellowy ones. But it's an aged blonde, I think, isn't it?
Yep. Yep.
And different in the 60s than it was in the 50s.
So, I've been having really interesting conversations with Johnny Kincaid about finishes, and I didn't know this. It's, comes to anything about guitars, he's a encyclopedia. But basically, he's French polishing my acoustic, and it ends up with like 150 coats of shellac, and it still ends up being like less than a quarter mil or an eighth of a mil thick on it.
And people wonder why nobody does those kind of finishes anymore.
Because I filmed him putting the first coats on, and he's talking about it. And he goes, "I love doing it, but I must be a bit crazy to do the finishes like this." But so the French polishing was the original thing they did, but then when they went to before they did Nitro, it was like there's a reason those old paints, there's an oil thing on top. Oh, anyway, it'll be in the video, and that video will be out sort of early January. With any luck, I pick up the guitar before Christmas. But he goes through what's going on in a lot of those early paints, and it is fascinating. And once, like for example, this is 61, right? And you'll see a lot of these cherry Gibsons from the early 60s. You see them now, they look brown because they're cherry. The nitro reacts to ultraviolet light and turns yellow. Which makes the cherry look brown.
I think the cherry genuinely fades as well.
Right.
I mean, if you see Les Pauls, if you take the selector switch thing that goes around the selector switch off an old Les Paul, a burst, you'll see it's much more sunburst underneath there than it is everywhere else on some of them because of that. So it's a combination of what Dan's saying, and then they do actually fade. Aniline dyes they used.
Right.
And yeah, which is a nightmare when you spray it because it goes everywhere. Anyway, so Sebastian Falvo Music and Evan Miller have come in with some interesting Billy Gibbons information, which now I read it does make a bit of sense. Apparently it was a 55 hardtail Strat.
So say that again.
It was a 55 hardtail Strat on Lagrange.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Thanks to Sebastian and to for Evan Miller for saying that. That does make there I am saying I think it's a top loader Tele. There's something in the bridge sound, and it's interesting that it's a hardtail.
Yeah.
I always think they sound a bit. I mean, I'm trying to backtrack here, but I always do think they sound a little bit closer to Teles, like the way Matt has his,
sure.
Matt Schofield.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I'm going to listen to that again with a bit more open ears. Oh, I wouldn't mind a
hardtail.
No, I don't want a hardtail,
No,
but a maple board Strat. I can't play them, but I think that might be a good thing because you just do less of that and more of that.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Anyway.
let's see what we can. We definitely next year there's going to be your Strat year. I've got my old Tele now. Time to find your old Strat. Yeah.
They're too expensive.
No,
I've got a massive harumph about how expensive they are.
We're going to find one for you.
All right.
We're going to find one for you.
John Furlough. I got Furlough on the brain. John Furlough. Or it might be Furlough, I don't know. Hello, John. He says, I recently got the Harmony H650 amp, 6L6 and 12AX7, 50 watt with a built-in attenuator as well as tremolo and boost. I'm running it wet dry with a twin. I think it would be something you would like. I should say.
Very nice.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. That sounds really, really cool. Hope you're enjoying that, John.
Yes, mate. Well done.
I don't think I haven't played any of the new Harmony amps. I guess somebody must be bringing them in. Andersons must be bringing them in.
Right.
Because they do the guitars. Nice, thank you, John. Brent Garner from Canada. He says, hi from Calgary. Hi, Brent.
Oh, lovely.
Playing a gig, but the backline is unknown. It could be Vox Marshall or Fender. Any tips on board or guitar to use for the most versatility?
So the most important thing, if you're doing, if you've got a board, but you don't know what the backline is, you need an EQ pedal. Just to, so so for example, if you've got a Vox, and you're used to, let's say your main amp is a twin or something, and you go to a Vox, and you have all these mids that you're not used to, you might just want to notch a few of those mid frequencies out. But the really important thing is you don't need to be drastic with that EQ.
It's dB or two here
exactly.
and there, isn't it?
It's a really subtle thing.
Yeah.
But it just helps keep everything sort of in the vein of consistent. But yeah, it's a really interesting thing having a board, a rig, but you don't know what the amp is. And a lot of players, do that, but the EQ can really help.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. If you're doing a lot of it, loads of it, and you find you're coming across the same amps all the time, you could look at putting some sort of valve preamp on your pedal board and sending that straight to the effects loop return of the amp. But then if you get a twin or an AC30 that doesn't have an effects loop, then you're marooned there. There's not much you can do about that. I tend to find if on your main board you've got a couple of different drives, so maybe you've got one that's mid-humped tube screamery and you've got one that's a bit more full range like an OCD or a Boss Blues drive or something like that. It might be that you can sort of lean on one of those to overall shape the sound of the thing.
Yeah.
Before you add everything else on top. Whenever that's happened to me, I'm all right. If it's like a classic amp, I'm usually all right. I can usually tweak the amp enough to get it to a point, especially if it's a Vox, because you've got that lovely tone cut control on the Vox. If you don't like all that I don't like, I can usually get there or thereabouts. The problem I've got is if it's something completely out of the way, which I'm not used to. Not to say bad, worse, or otherwise, just very different. Like if it's a JC120, or I did some gigs on the Isle of Wight once, and I said literally any amp as long as I can make it sound like a Fender Twin. I get there, it's a Line 6 Veta 212. I'm like, yeah, I literally just, can you put the Fender model on, please? And because it's had the flipping DeLorean control panel on the top.
How was the gig?
Pretty bad. Not because of the amp,
no,
because it just completely knocked me off my.
You set the scene.
Knocked me off my game, but yeah, any sort of traditional valve amp I can usually manage with. It's just if it's something massively out of the way, and then there's nothing really that I can do on the board that will help. EQ maybe.
Yeah.
But
yeah. But good luck, mate. I hope that helps.
Yeah.
Just Chris Wardle says, first time I've ever caught you guys live. Hi,
hello,
guys.
Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Noah Guttle says, oh, blimey, Noah, thanks for your generosity, mate. That is very generous. He says,
oh, thank you, Noah. That's very kind, mate.
Hey,
thank
TPS, thanks for everyone's generosity, by the way. It's very kind of you all.
We really, really appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with us.
Yeah.
We've got 1,000 people at the moment who have sat down, listening to us prattle on. It's wonderful.
Oh my goodness. Check out my new book. Hey TPS crew, I'm calling on all of you. Let's put forward the best end for our favourite leg end. Everyone join with me to get Mick a proper vintage Strat. Tag your super chat with Leo Cookie Jar. Let's show them how much we care. Noah, thank you so much for even suggesting that, but honestly it's not your job to do that for me. It's my job to do that for me, and it would feel entirely inappropriate to be taking anyone's money to spend on a guitar. The money we make on TPS we put back into the show. We might buy nice microphones and things like that, but it's all about pushing the show forward and putting the money into better production and paying Dougie. And
next year we'll find a way to get an old Strat for Mick, but we'll keep it from him. We'll do a big surprise. Well, I'll organise it with Catherine so Mick doesn't know. Just to let you guys know now.
But that money's got to come out of my pocket, so that it genuinely feels like mine, and and B, that it's the right way to do it. So, but thank you even for thinking about that. That's insanely generous of you. Jeremy M. Barker. Hello, Jeremy.
Hello, Jeremy.
Question for Dan. My TC Ditto looper is boosting my dry signal like crazy whenever the pedal is on. They claim it's an all analog drive-through. How can that be?
So it depends on what is going on before it. So, for example,
not beer, unfortunately.
If you've got as soon as you clicked that, I went, oh, you know what I could really do with a beer now.
It's San Pellegrino lemon drink.
Have you ever tried Camden Pale Ale?
Yeah.
And that's the sound that makes as you open up the can. Anyway, right. So it should be unity gain. If it's not unity gain, then there might be an issue with the pedal. However, if you've got a really long cable run and everything is true bypass up to that point, what you might be experiencing is the difference in impedance.
Yeah.
And it's driving those frequencies. So what you're perceiving as a volume boost is actually just lifting those frequencies that are getting filtered through a long cable run.
Yeah.
So the way to test that is have a pedal on before it that has a nice low impedance. Any standard pedal, 1K or lower, fine. And then turn the looper on and off and see if you still have the same problem. If you don't, then you know it's an impedance thing. If you do, then you know that you've got somewhere that somehow that pedal is adding gain. It shouldn't be. I don't know if there's a gain trim inside, but check the manual. There might be. But that's the most likely culprit. But best of luck. TC, oh, by the way, the TC support is really good. So if you have an issue like that and you can't work it out, just get in touch with them and they'll sort you out.
JC Redding says the San Pellegrino Liminatas have crazy amounts of sugar, worse than any soda.
Seriously?
Well, it's true of all old fizzy drinks. What I'm here to tell you is this is not that one. I have to take a picture of it because my eyes can't see it.
Okay.
Even with my glasses on.
What about if you do this? If you hold it back and look down on it like this.
Oh yeah, it is a lot. Actually, you're not wrong. Yeah, wow, double what a Coke is.
My goodness.
Goodness, that is a lot. 15 grams of sugar.
Ooh.
What I don't understand about that, it says it's the tastefully light one.
It tastes like light. Tastes like lies.
How is that possible? How can they call it tastefully light? Huh? What a con. Tastefully light, asterisk. Right?
Right.
The asterisk says, reference intake of an average adult, 20,000 calories per day.
2,000 or 20,000?
20,000. Is that what I said? 2,000.
2,000. I was going to say 20,000. Yeah.
I told you my eyes don't work. I can't believe that. How do they get away with that?
I don't know.
Anyway, I don't mind. I'm on sugar overload today anyway.
Oh, yeah. It's that time of the year, right? It's in the sprint thing.
Makes no difference to me whatsoever. Thank you for the concern. Jeremy and oh no, we've had you, Jeremy. Just double check that it hasn't got some internal trimmer for a boost as well.
Yeah,
I don't think it does, but just check. Justin Baylog. Hello, Justin.
Hey, Justin.
He says, I discovered Kirk Fletcher on TPS, so I bought one of his courses. He's a great guy and a heck of a player. Thank you.
Kirk was a revelation when he came in. And so he did it. He demonstrated to us BB King's different vibrato over the years, how it changed, and it was mind-blowing.
It really was.
Yep. And I gave him a lift to the train station. I was quizzing him all the way back in the car. I'm sure he was really pleased to get out of the car by the end.
When he was shuffling, he was doing that shuffle. It's like, wow, I've never heard anyone shuffle like that before.
Yep.
He's such a great player. What's quite interesting about Kirk, actually, is as I've heard him over the years, certainly on his later releases, he's got slightly more traditional If you listen to his earlier stuff when he was hanging around with Michael Landau a lot, there's a lot of real sort of rockier fire in his playing,
Right.
Which is a sort of a different side to him. It's interesting to hear him kind of, change as the years goes on. Would be good to see Kirky live again, actually.
Yeah. But I remember taking to the station, just being so blown away by his feel.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
He's so good.
How do you develop that? And he says to me, and I'm driving along, he says, so what are you listening to? And I'm like, King Crimson. He's like, okay. Yeah.
Oh, maybe we can get him back in here one day. That
Yeah.
would be lovely.
Really, really lovely.
Albus Band, Aaron, hello. He says, if we had all you guys tied up, it probably would have been fine. They put a twist on it.
Such a fine line between clever and stupid.
What's wrong with being sexy?
Sexy?
I love you two and the delay video on Friday. Great jams.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you, Aaron. We love
Thank
you too,
you.
buddy. Luke McFarlane. He says, hey guys, it was my 21st recently.
Oh, happy birthday, mate.
And I got my first valve amp, a JCM 2000 DSL 50. I sold my Katana and less used pedals to fund a HXFX for my FX Helix. Sounding killer. Is the rig Dan and Mick approved?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
The only thing that matters is you like it. And B, yes. Yes.
Well done, mate. Fantastic.
Cool. Hope you're
fun.
enjoying that amp. It takes a minute. It'll take a minute to really learn how to use that thing. And I hope you have an opportunity to do so, because you really have to turn it up.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Yeah. That's something that we do bang on about a lot. But if you get the opportunity, if you don't play out regularly with, in live conditions, go and book a rehearsal room for the day and take your gear and set it up and just experience what that's like to play with volume. Because when you turn up and you get some sound pressure levels working, it's a different instrument.
Different sport.
And I think what happens for a lot of people, so one of the real motivators with getting people into TPS is so that we could get people to experience what it's like sat here in front of these amps. And we have so many light bulb moments of people saying, oh, okay, right. Because it's a different instrument at that level. So you'll never really understand your amplifier until you've been in that situation where you can turn it up. So if you can do that at home on the weekend, fantastic. If not, book a rehearsal room for the day. Yeah. It's so worth it.
That's what I started doing.
Yep.
Equally, there's people who are like, yeah, that's really not for me.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I that volume thing, definitely not for me.
Yeah.
And that's cool too.
Yeah.
But
we had Matt.
Yeah.
And he played it. It's like, yeah, this is great.
I prefer my Princeton.
Prefer my Princeton.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's like, he was a lovely player.
He was.
Really lovely.
And this was on Friday in the experience day. But I think it's good to have that knowledge of...
Definitely.
That you like this or you like that. So it's good to try these things, which sounds like a preposterously obvious thing to say. You've got to give it a chance, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Indeed.
Adam D. Hello, Adam. He says, hello, Dan and Mick. Hello from Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
It's new pedal day with a Boss BD2 Wazza.
Nice.
And a JHS Smiley on the way from where, Dan?
On the way from?
That pedal shop.
Yeah, come on.
Pedalshop.com.
Thank you, buddy. That's wonderful.
Adam, thanks so much for buying some stuff from there. We hope you have a good experience of it. That pedalshop.com. Please check it out.
Wonderful.
Thanks so much, Adam.
Cheers, mate.
Michael Fours. Hello, Michael.
Hello,
he says,
Michael.
Been so long I could attend the VCQ. Have a beer or two on me and take care. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
What we'll do is we'll put it in the Get Dougie Paid fund. We are thinking of doing a T-shirt to fund Dougie, actually. We'll call it Dougie Doug Doug. Or I bought this T-shirt in order to make sure Dougie gets paid. I think would work.
Lovely.
And we'll give Doug a cut of the shirt. Do you think so?
That's great. That's great.
Doug's the drummer, by the way. And he's a professional drummer, therefore he needs to be paid a professional amount of money.
Yeah.
Well, semi-pro amount of money.
No, we love Doug. He's the best.
Non-aligned videos. Hello, non-aligned videos. We know all about those. He says, I've said this before. On the A7 III Sony, the video comes out of the HDMI 3 frames behind the audio.
Ah, that's a non-aligned video.
It's tremendously annoying.
Okay.
Anyway. What would you rather be subjected to?
Here we go.
A year playing only a 7-string guitar, or a year playing only a 5-string guitar?
Oh, hello.
Oh, that's easy.
5-string.
7 for me. I quite enjoy a 7-string guitar, I think.
5-string.
Which string would you lose?
The low E.
Yeah.
Because you've still got that, everything's in fourths up until the G to the B, major third, and then fourths again to get back to the E. And so you can still play all that, still play all the stuff.
You can still play most of the chords you need to play, can't you?
Yeah, and I can still, and
Certainly
all the intervals are still
important
the
parts
same.
of all the chords.
Yeah. And I can still, because you didn't say I couldn't play with a band. So, have a bass player doing all the low ones. It'd be fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a stint on a 7-string, actually. Not that I'm ever going to buy one anytime soon.
I
But
saw Jacob Collier doing this thing on a 5-string guitar the other day, and it's like, he's just ridiculous.
who's he, the singer guy?
Yeah, he's the singer guy, the
Harmonising guy.
multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah.
He is something else. But he's just sat on top of his, had some solar panels sat on top of his roof, had a Taylor 5-string, and he was just expressing himself through the majesty of song. Wonderful.
Nice. There we are, then, non-aligned videos. I wonder what your preference would be. If it was a 5-string bass, definitely a 7-string guitar.
Can't play 5-string bass.
No.
No thanks.
We should set up a pressure group to get them banned. That's a joke. It's a joke.
When we get our venue,
Yeah.
so it's like, you can, we'll have 100-watt Marshalls, high watts, all these amps. You can only use those amps.
And if you try and walk in with a 5-string bass, Big Dave kicks your teeth in. Like, no second chances. It's like, that's just a warning, mate.
Perfect.
Actually,
And we'll have the traffic light meter thing.
Yeah.
But if you duck under 110 dB, the power shuts off.
Power shuts off. Oh, this is actually going to happen. By the way, on the subject of 5-string basses, I do like them, really. I listen to a lot of music with them in, so just before anyone gets really angry. What's wrong with the precision? Rodrigo Guaspari from Brazil. Hello to Brazil.
Hello.
Blimey. He says, do you guys know the Digitech Bad Monkey? If so,
Yes.
what do you think of it?
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wasn't it a rat, basically, or am I getting it
No,
wrong?
I think it was more like a tube screamer, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah. It was one of those
They were very popular.
very, very popular, and they sounded fantastic.
Yeah. Don't know. We should find one. They were super popular, and there was somebody really famous who used them, and I can't remember who it was because they were easy to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those early Digitech. A lot of those that era Digitech pedals were really good. Gearing up to my first Strat, says David Braniff. Hello, David. I'm torn between a classic vibe and a 90s made in Japan I saw. Which way should I go? Please use this to get Rosie a Christmas present.
Oh.
Thank you, David. Rosie's having a phantom pregnancy at the moment, which is really hilarious.
Weird.
In a non-hilarious way. She's nesting and guardy and grumpy. And so, we're learning new things about dogs all the time.
She's lovely.
I think she's coming out of it, but which way should you go?
Oh, Grant Thomas says Gary Moore and Flex used a Bad Monkey.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
I think it might be Gary Moore I was thinking about. Weirdly, I was talking to Gary Moore's long-time tech couple of weeks ago about a couple of things, and I'm pretty sure he mentioned it, and that's why it was in my brain.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, a guy called Graham Lilly. Which way should you go? I'm assuming you can't play either of these guitars. That's tough. I've been tremendously impressed with the Squier Classic Vibe stuff.
Yeah.
Really, really impressed. But equally, those a lot of those Japanese, well, I call them reissue strats, even though they're not strictly that, are really good. Actually, what would swing it for me is the metric and imperial thing. So all Japanese made strats are metric, which means when you try and put an American bridge on them, it won't fit. So you have to get a specific one that will be, Callahan make them. It's not like they're not available, but given that all the other bits I've got are imperial and for vintage spec strats, that's why I would go with the Squier. Actually, you might want to check that the Squiers aren't metric either, depending on where they're made. They well could be metric as well, come to think of it.
So what impressed me most about the Squier, like the one that we had, the purple one that came from Anderton's.
And that's not even, that's just the basic. That's not even a classic vibe.
And how long did it sit in that box for?
2 years.
Right. Sat in the box for 2 years. Took it out, tuned it up.
Boom.
Just was like, wow.
Yeah.
Really, really great guitars.
Oh. That's tough. Normally on those sorts of questions, I'd be like, yeah, get that one. But that really, either of those guitars could be really, really good.
Yeah.
Could really speak to you, either of those guitars. Yep. So in that sense, obviously get the one you like the colour of the best.
Yep.
Tim Good. Timmy Be Good. He says, hi D&M. Loved Friday's show on delay to use in a band. I've been using an Echoplex style delay at around 335 milliseconds.
Very nice.
Like Mick suggests, as a staple for a while now. Love how it sits behind the notes so well.
Yeah.
Tim, you're not alone. There were quite a few people in the comments section saying that sort of... And actually, Gemma Seymour, I refer to Gemma as a friend. We don't know Gemma, but she's been a long time
now, yeah.
Long time viewer of TPS and always puts in some really fantastic comments. And she came up with some maths at why 335 wasn't arbitrary at all. It's a very...
In relation to a lot of the common tempos of tunes.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
That it actually makes sense, that it works in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool.
Very good.
Nice one, Tim. Because love, says Eagle Ray Rob. And Eagle Ray Rob, that is phenomenally generous of you. Thank you, buddy.
Oh, mate.
That's super
Wow,
kind
thank
of you.
you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Love back to you.
Yeah, thank you, bud.
An Eagle Ray is a thing. Did you know that?
An Eagle Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I had to ask Rob why he was called Eagle Ray Rob. And
I'm
he said
assuming
an
Rob's a scuba diver.
Eagle Ray is a thing.
Yeah.
I know they're not actual wings, but they look like wings to me.
Yeah, I think we still call them wings.
Do you call them wings?
I used to do a lot of scuba diving in Australia.
Did you?
Yep. So every morning I'd either go scuba diving or go surfing. And I had all my own stuff and was part of a club and had the compressor and had my own tanks and stuff. It was brilliant fun.
All about the gear.
Man. Oh boy. There's a rabbit hole. Yeah, but so there was a moray eel I used to go down and feed every morning, or every second morning or whatever. But we used to see those rays all the time, and they're wonderful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Never seen anything like that up close.
Really?
No.
Come out to Australia. We'll go scuba diving. It'll be wicked. I've still got my I used to dive on what's called mixed air, which is a higher percentage of oxygen, so you can go down deeper.
Mm.
And we used to dive in wrecks and stuff. And
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm astounded by that.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. I've been in Sydney Harbour.
Wow.
And had a great white shark go straight over my head. But yeah, I used to dive at 30 metres and that quite often. It was loads of fun.
I wouldn't enjoy that. It's really funny, isn't it? I've done a bit of scuba and I've done a bit of swimming around reefs and stuff.
Mm.
But I don't. Once you get down there, it's not for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not for me. Don't think it's a claustrophobia thing, but it's just not for me.
I used to go night diving.
No, definitely not for me.
It's really fun.
Same as jumping out of planes and stuff. I'm like, why would you actively do something that has such a high possibility of catastrophic ending?
I did that with Teen for her birthday, right? It's really funny. So we were living with a bunch of her English friends at the time, and I hired a convertible, and for a surprise took her out to go skydiving, which she always wanted to do. And it's like, yep, great. So it was a tandem skydive, and did all the course and stuff, and went up there. And I hadn't really thought about it until the moment that the guy had strapped me on.
The guy kicks you out.
Yep. But he had to hold me. He had to sort of push me out the plane, and I'm sort of sat there, hanging out the plane.
Yeah.
And it was only then I was like, oh, that's right. We're a really long way up. And Teen videoed her, and on the video you just see me and my face as I sort of get bundled out the door. But I just remember landing. We didn't talk for 40 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Just couldn't. Our brain was so scrambled from the experience. We just couldn't. Words weren't forming in our brains.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry. Now,
no,
that's
cool.
called a tangent. If anyone's new to the show,
I'm pretty sure I would do a skydive actually.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Maybe not undersea diving quite so much.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I don't need to do it again, but I'm really glad we did it once. And not to get you for Christmas now.
David Breckheimer says, Mick, I've got to say your Epiphone with the P90s was crazy good sounding in the delay video.
So good.
And seeing Lennon play his all the way through Get Back, or Get It Back series, has got me thinking, I've said it before about those sorts of guitars. I've played loads and loads and loads of those kind of guitars over the years, and when I say those kind of guitars, I mean either fully hollow or semi-hollow laminate body in the Gibson ES tradition.
Yeah.
Whether it's semi-hollow or fully hollow. And I have a theory that because it's basically junk, right? It's plywood, laminated and pressed into a shape and sort of joined together. Clearly, you can get ones that sound really fantastic and ones that sound less fantastic. But I actually think part of the joy of the thing is in that it is, it's not the most beautifully seasoned piece of tone wood that's ever existed. Like a Stratton Tele relies on a decent bit of alder and ash, in my opinion. But these things, I guess, and another reason might be because the guitar is predominantly hollow. Therefore, a lot of what you're hearing is, not the wood of the guitar. It's how all the bits are resonating that are hanging off it. And my point is that generally, a lot of those less expensive semis can sound totally fantastic with some really good pickups in.
Yeah.
And that is an important caveat at the end there, because that, despite I made a video on changing the pickups in that guitar, and lots of people said, oh, wow, it sounded amazing before, you put those new pickups in. And I'm like, yep, there was definitely a charm to it, but it would be literally unusable in that band context that we had on Friday. There would be uncontrollable feedback. It was so dull. Just wasn't there. The Lollas really, really, really brought it to life. And genuinely, it's one of my favourite guitars.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I bought it for 270 quid on eBay, stuck some pickups in for about the same price, and a wiring loom that was 100 quid, I think. So, almost tripled the price of the guitar with the bits in it. And it's a fab thing. Yeah. So I would thoroughly recommend looking into one. And that isn't, you go onto forums and you'll soon start having a punch up with somebody about whether the Korean ones are better than the Chinese ones are better than this and than that. And I'm sure they are in whatever direction you care about. But that's the cheapest, nastiest, most basic production Chinese one bought off eBay. It's a great guitar.
Yep, sounds wonderful.
Doesn't mean they all will be, but
they're pretty consistent.
I think they're pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can certainly be set up as long as there's nothing fundamentally wrong with it. Anyway, yeah, I think because they are basically junk in the first place, laminate wood, there's a charm, and it has a lot of charm.
It's about the charm.
Yeah, it is about the charm.
Little.
Lennon, of course, that's a whole other thing. That's genius at work
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I'm not talking about that. That's a different thing.
That's just there's a quote from the castle. Guy's coming out to do an evaluation on his house. He points up. He goes, "You see that fire? You see that chimney?" He goes, "Yeah, fake." He goes, "Why is it there?" He goes, "Charm. Just adds a bit of charm." One day, I'm going to get you and Catherine around. I'm going to show you guys the castle.
Okay.
And you will understand me so much better after watching that film.
I'm on it.
Brilliant.
I'm on it. Johnny Boy McConnell says, how much does a wiring loom affect a guitar's tone? It depends what it was before and what it is then. But in the case of that Epiphone, I believe significantly and massively.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. Obviously, when I say wiring loom, I also mean caps, pots, and switch. And all of that stuff, if you replace all of that, that can make a significant difference. Yeah, especially if it's wired 50s wired, as opposed to what they call modern wiring. So there's a lot of ifs and buts and ands here, but you rip out a bog standard modern wired stuff using cheapo stuff, and you put it in with the best stuff you can buy, 50s wired. All of that makes a huge difference. Mm-hmm. If you were to take all that, averagely cheapo stuff and rewire it 50s and maybe put some better caps in or some different value caps, maybe that would make a significant difference too.
Right.
Can't be bothered with all that. Gut it, new stuff, it's all good. Happy days.
Nice. Very nice.
What's the bridge pickup in red, Dan? Says Jeremy Modge.
Someone told me, because it's the original, was the one that came with the guitar, custom shop. It's got beveled magnets in it, staggered beveled magnets in it. And someone pointed out to me it's called a specific thing that came with those guitars from the Fender custom shop in 2002. I think they still make them, I'm not sure, but I don't see them very often.
It's the 63 spec Tele pickup, custom shop version thereof.
Yeah, but it's just the one that came from the factory.
Yeah. Unusual, as Dan says, as you've got beveled staggered magnets where you would normally associate a Tele pickup to have flat pole pieces. Yeah.
But I've tried literally dozens of different, well, at least 20 different pickups in that, and I always kept coming back to the bridge pickup, and it's just that's just the pickup for that guitar.
Yeah, it's a very special thing.
It is.
We should, I guess, Dan doesn't want to take it to bits and have a look at it in case anything goes wrong.
I'm not touching it,
but it would be interesting to know what wire it is and all that business.
Yeah, but I restring that guitar one string at a time. I don't want to clean it. I just I don't touch it, which is why I'm really reticent. It's got a scratchy pot. I'm really reticent to even fix that, but I will do because I know it drives you crazy.
You will see a murder live on TPS if he doesn't clean that pot.
Yeah.
Or a really broken Telecaster, one of the two. Dan Cobley says, a quick thanks for all the content and motivation. Your vids always inspire me to play and I feel like a musician again. After a very, very busy year, I'm ready to perform as my full-time job.
Oh, mate, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Good on you, Dan.
Yeah, best of luck with that, bud.
Nice one for getting out there again.
Yeah, well done.
Dan B. Hello, Dan. He says, thanks to your inspiration, I had my first jam with others in 20 years.
Small round of applause. That's awesome, mate. Well done.
Well done. That is
good. Kind of a big deal.
Good for the old ticker.
Yep.
He says, I need to drop some gain stages. I currently have a JHS Pollinator, Boss Angry Driver, Dodd Looking Glass, dual broadcast and a Ryra clone. Pick 3 to keep.
Ryra clone, Looking Glass, and...
I'm just finding out what the Pollinator is.
Oh, it's really tricky.
Fuzz. Oh.
See, with
fuzz face.
Oh, man, if you the Looking Glass for me, wow, what a wonderful sounding thing. And I'd probably use that for the gainier stuff. I'd probably use the clone for the boost after that, and then I would probably go into the so either the fuzz, if it cleans up well, so you've got your range of tones there. But what was the other one? The
Dual broadcast.
The broadcast. I'd probably go broadcast. Broadcast, Looking Glass, and the clone for me.
Yeah, it depends what kind of music you play, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But for my personal choice, I would definitely keep the Looking Glass, the clone, and the dual broadcast, and get rid of all the heavy gain stuff. Because that dual broadcast does a fantastic fuzz if you need it.
It really does.
It's, as you well know, it's a brilliant transistory, cleany boost thing. And I think, given that if you're going to keep 3 gain stages, you don't need anything high gain, because you can stack them in a way that gives you your high gain. Whereas if you try and use the Angry Driver or the Pollinator in there, it's always going to cause you problems. One would assume you want to drop some gain stages because your sound's disappearing a bit because it's so too gainy. But with those other 3, you can get like mega gain.
Yeah.
But you might be able to get it in a sort of more harmonically interesting manner.
Yeah.
Those would be my choices.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Good luck, Dan. And brilliant that you're jamming again. That's really cool.
He be jamming.
Ian Fan.
Wit jamming.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Ian.
He says, leg ends on G3. Can switches be programmed to turn on and off delay only or reverb only on the source audio collider? I learned so much from you guys.
Oh, thank you, mate. Yes, they can. It's just associating the CC messages with those foot switches, and just put them in stompbox mode, and then you can turn them off, on and off independently. If you need help with that, just contact support at the gig rig, and then the boys will sort you out.
Is that M1D1?
M1D1.
So you have to use MIDI in order to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's another way of doing it. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
but the MIDI, doing it with MIDI is super simple and works great.
Yeah. Digger68. Howdy, Legends. Got my hands on a Q filter from Wild Pickups. Wired it to a push-pull tone pot, and it's now my preferred method of getting that single coiled sound from a humbucker and cooling of a hot single. Okay.
Nice.
Q filter. Interesting.
Very good.
Interesting.
We'll check that out.
Q filter from Wild Pickups. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but we'll check that out. Here's David Burke. Hello, David.
Hello, David.
He says, long time no speak. Not to be creepy, but I have been watching.
I know where you live.
Have some love, he says. Should be a good week. I've got a CME spec, Chicago Music Exchange, I believe that is. CME spec Gibson R8 that's been stranded in the States for 2 years, finally on its way.
Oh, wow.
And a TPS shop order. I will enjoy that guitar. Interesting you say I have been watching. We met a couple people at our experience day on Friday. One of whom was Lee, actually, and he says, I never comment on videos.
Yeah.
He says, I really love your videos. I never comment. Can't be bothered with social media. He says, remember, there's a lot of us out there. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
That was lovely, wasn't it?
because so
Really
much of
heartening.
sometimes focus can go into a bit of negativity that happens. And it's just a reminder that actually we shouldn't be wasting any time on that. And we should be giving all our time to the people who like it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to you, David, to everyone watching today, and indeed to Lee, who reminded us of that on Friday. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Very,
you
very
guys.
much.
But really, really appreciate it.
Yeah. Jason Thompson. Hello, Jason. He said, I love the direct video. I have to go that route at church. I had an Iridium and pedals, never sounded good. Went fractal. Sounds great. At home, it's into a Carvin Mac 100 and Egnator TM212X stereo. Try it, legends.
Great. That's awesome that it's working for you. Really pleased. Those, if you need that solution for whatever situation, there's some really good options out there. It's just finding the ones that work for you, and they've all got their good things. They've all got their challenges, as with every rig. But if you find something that works for you in that certain situation, amazing. Well done.
That's it, isn't it? It's just what works.
Yep.
And then what works is the right thing. Elliot Russell. Hello, Elliot.
Hello, Elliot.
He says, no queue, just thanks from a musician who's just finished his first UK run since the pandemic.
Oh, wow. Oh, congratulations.
You've given such light in the dark of the past year. A big shout out to my new friends Churd and Lee from the Biffy Gang
Oh, awesome.
for helping out on tour. Nice one, Elliot. That's really nice to hear that you're out there playing.
Yeah. Churd is the best. He's the best guy. Love him to bits. So brilliant. Well done. Congrats.
Sub Rosa. Hello, Sub Rosa. Any thoughts on the Free the Tone Ambispace reverb? Also, check out Joel Peterson Hi-Fi Christmas Guitar. Wonderful instrumentals recorded that vintage way. I am totally doing that. Thank you. Joel Peterson. Free the Tone Ambispace. Ever played it?
No.
Nor me. Got one sat out on the desk out
Do
there,
we?
though. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great. We'll give it
Yeah.
a go. We love their stuff, so I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
If it's in the same league as the Tri-Avatar Chorus and either the Flight Time or the
Future Factory
Delay, it's going to be utterly stellar. They don't muck about, Free the Tone.
They really don't.
Yeah, it's literally out on the bench out there and waiting to be tried.
Excellent.
John Fremer. Sorry, John, I can't. My eyes get worse the tighter I get. Have you ever played gigs switching between electric and acoustic and amplified both through the same amp? What amp would you choose?
No. It's a really hard thing to do because the frequencies that you require. I mean, I guess it could work if you didn't have any issues with feedback on your acoustic and you could EQ it into the amp. I mean, it could work. But, yeah, I find that whenever I do the acoustic, with the Tin Spirits, I'd have an acoustic on a stand and go backwards and forwards and just have a volume pedal for the acoustic.
There is nothing more prog than that.
Of course.
Here's what I do.
I explained that setup to Kirk Fletcher, and he goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. It's like a little part of him dies inside. That's what I do. This is an AER Compact 60, which I just cannot be without.
Epic sounding thing.
For my acoustic guitar. It's so small, it can go anywhere. There's no reason why you can't stand that on top of whatever other guitar amp you're using. So yeah, that's what I do. And I guess one way you could do it is if you had a very clean full range flat response type amp that was good for your acoustic guitar, you could then use a modeler for your electric guitar sounds, which would have amp and speaker simulation. Similarly, I've heard plenty of people use something like a twin reverb or a super reverb, bright switch on, which can sound okay, but my sound of my acoustic guitar is utterly sacred to me.
Yeah, totally.
And is bad enough through that, let alone through a proper guitar amp. So
they're different things, and they're voiced for different things. It's a tricky thing to do.
And again, it depends on what you're playing. You know, whenever I play an acoustic guitar, I never play above the 5th fret. It's all open chords. In fact, the only time I play above the 5th fret is if I've got a capo on and I can play open chords up there. So I want a traditional Western American acoustic guitar sound is what I want. And that doesn't come out of an electric guitar amp. But if you're John Martin or that English dude, what's his name? Come on, what's his name, Dan?
Bill.
Ben Howard.
Ben Howard.
Or Ben Howard, or, you know, somebody a bit more experimental, then maybe an electric guitar amp can work great for you.
Yeah.
But otherwise, get a really nice little acoustic amp. If you don't want to spring for an AER, Laney do some great ones around that price too. Around that size too.
I went and saw Transatlantic once.
Right.
And Neil Morse had the best acoustic guitar sound. And I saw him after the gig and said, "Well, how'd you do it?" He was just straight into a DI, straight into the desk, and he just turned it up and put a bit of reverb on it. And like, couldn't believe it. Best acoustic guitar stand I've ever heard.
Nice.
Yep.
I think John Smith is the best acoustic guitar sound
Oh,
I've ever
man.
heard
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Chris Groom. Hi, Mick. Hi, Dan.
Hey, mate.
Blimey, Chris, thank you for your generosity. Goodness me, thank you.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you, buddy. It's very kind.
He says, new guitar day, Yamaha 1611 Mike Stern signature.
Mike Stern. Very good. Very good.
Thought I would dip my toe into the Telecaster world. So far, I really like the tones, although it's not a typical Tele.
No. Well, it's not a typical Tele, that guitar.
Does this have a humbucker in the neck?
Yes, humbucker in the neck. And it's, it's a... Is it still a Pacifica? I don't know if they call it a Pacifica, but it's...
Pacifica 1611.
Right. They are great guitars. So Mike Stern on that guitar. So when I had my lesson with Mike and he had his original one of that, it was the most beat up guitar I've ever seen in my life. But it is different than a standard Tele. But if this is the first time you're dipping into that world, wonderful, really wonderful. Yeah,
nice.
Very fun. They're fun guitars to play.
Just looking at the spec. Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a Pacifica I played for years. The Michael Lee Firkins.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I flew over the Pacific once. Enjoy that, Chris. It's always a special day, isn't it?
Yeah.
A new guitar
done.
day.
Lovely. Very lovely.
And you sit it there, you look at it, and you're like, yeah. Then you pick it up, you play it, but you
Back into yeah.
watching the telly, like. Do you do that, right?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Of course I do.
P Design P says, hello. Have you guys heard about Whiz pickups? I replaced my 57 Classics in my Gibson R8 with them. Couldn't be happier.
Wow.
Guitar became brighter and more alive.
Amazing.
Yeah, don't tell anyone, P Design P. I'm not a massive fan of 57 Classics. I think they work great in SGs, but in 335s and Les Pauls, too dark.
Right.
Whiz pickups, yeah, we have to check them out. Thanks for the heads up. David Cummings says, I went to that pedal shop. Whoa, where do I start? At the beginning. I found out my power supply won't feed a collider, so I'm going for a carbon copy deluxe.
Oh, okay.
That, David, is because?
The current draw of the collider is quite high. Wonderful pedal. But if your power supply won't feed it and you don't want to shell out for a new power supply, the Carbon Copy Deluxe is an epic sounding delay thing. It's
analog,
really great.
so requires far less current draw.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for going there and thanks for buying something, David. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
Thank you
really
very
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you. James Roy. Thanks from New York City.
I love New York.
Your advice helped oodles from my last gig and I'm really enjoying the live band action for the Friday jams. Awesome stuff.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks so much, James. I think someone was saying it in the comments over the weekend that, there's the possibility for us to do basically everything we've talked about in a band context.
Yeah.
And that's certainly part of the plan. We really enjoyed doing it and it's really good to play. So, hopefully we will do more of that. What will probably happen is some weeks it'll be bandy and some weeks it'll be me and Dan sat on the stools hammering out tones. And some people are going to prefer one approach and some people are going to prefer the other.
It's all good.
We just need everyone to be like little Fonzies everywhere.
What is Fonzie? He's cool. He's cool. Now go in there and get my wallet. But how do I know which one's yours?
And so, in traditional TPS fashion, it will be what it will be. But thank you for that feedback. We appreciate it. Connor Larkin. No question. I'm just thankful for the knowledge and experience you guys share every week. Because of watching your show all these years, I've become the go-to pedal guru in my friend circle. Much love. Nice.
That's very cool, mate. Very cool. Well done.
Matt. Hello, Matt Lloyd. Nice
Hey,
to hear from
mate.
you, buddy. He says, hey guys, hope you're well. Just wondering if you've ever played any DIY clones. If so, did you like any of them?
The DIY, as in the specific DIY Stompbox clones or the any DIY clones?
I understand there are various websites where you can go on and buy a kit.
Oh, okay.
And I assume that's the kind of thing you're talking about, Matt, or unless it's something that someone's just looked up the circuit for and made themselves. I don't know.
No, I haven't really. No, I haven't really gone down that route. I mean, I've got a bunch of pedals that I've made just because I was starting out and getting my teeth into it. But I never really did the clone thing. But it's, I mean, man, if you've got the time and patience to go through that stuff and
and they're well made enough,
they're great.
No
really
reason
great.
why they wouldn't sound completely awesome.
Yeah.
Marcus Reeves is going to come in and help us do the fuzz face. We're just trying to set a date at the moment so we can get into a bit of that, Matt,
brilliant.
Which will hopefully be interesting. Rick Appleby. Hello, Rick
mate.
Appleby. Never gonna give you up. He says, Mick and Dan, I discovered TPS a year ago and I've been deep diving into all things electric. 1 year on, I have a glorious wet dry rig, plus my first ever pedal board. I can't thank you both enough for your freely given knowledge and the laughs along the way. Thanks, Rick.
That's fantastic, Rick. Thank you.
That's
buddy.
cool. If you're enjoying it, that's it. That's job done.
Epic.
Happy days. James Colunio. James, no question from you, so I'll just check if BV has forwarded me a question. He has not, so we'll see if that comes up somewhere else in a bit. Scott Guitars. He says, hi guys. Telecasters rock and you rock. I'm sat watching this on my 4th day of isolation due to contracting COVID. Just what the doctor ordered.
Well, hope you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you are indeed feeling ill to start with, but hope you're feeling better. Man, tips for isolation.
Sleep.
Yeah, drink plenty of fluids. Seinfeld is now streaming on Netflix. It's so good. That's all I got. It's really funny, actually.
Depends how grotty you feel, doesn't it? If you're isolating and you feel okay, what an awesome opportunity to play the guitar.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, or sleep. That's what
Yeah.
I'd like. Sleep.
Play some Bach. Take a Bach piece that you've always wanted to learn. And there you go. Got 10 days.
Yeah.
Bang it out.
Yeah. Get well soon, Scott.
Yeah, mate.
As Dan talks to banging out. William Turner. Hello, William. He says, should I get a vintage 60s SG standard or a modern custom shop? For me, it's all about the sound, not so much the feel. Really appreciate any advice from you guys.
So this is a really interesting question.
What a great question.
Yeah. Get what you like.
It all depends on the guitar.
Yep. Every guitar is different. You really need to be able to play them. And if you pick up that 60s standard and you go, this is the sound I've always wanted from an SG, then you're golden. The new ones will be more consistent.
Yeah.
But if you find an old one that you like, it's solid gold.
Yeah, a lot of the old ones will be broken, repaired.
Yeah.
All of that. So if you want one that hasn't been broken and massively repaired and bits nicked off it and new pickups and all that, then you're looking at a lot of money. And in that respect, the new one's a good value in comparison.
Yeah.
Because SGs used to be cheap, and it used to be that you could buy certainly standards not that different from what a new one would cost. But that's all changed in recent years, and
Indeed.
they are expensive now. So yeah, you got to play it.
Yeah. Best of luck, mate.
I mean, Dan and I would always say that a really nice example of a vintage guitar is going to appeal to us more than a really nice example of a new one.
Yeah, but certainly not always the case.
Not always the case.
Yeah.
No. I'm jealous, William, that you are making that decision for what it's worth. And Yuka Sitalia, and I apologise for pronouncing your name wrong. He says, hello from Finland.
Oh, lovely. Hello.
Great show on Friday. I found and got an empty Marshall 2061 CX cab. How did you do that? What's your speaker recommendation? My amp is a Marshall Origin 50.
Origin 50. Okay. Either, is it a 4x12?
No, the 2061 212. That one that you like.
Okay. Sorry, the one that I like to...
Your Marshall 212.
Oh, close back. All right, either a couple of greenbacks, which sounds great in that cab, but those, so depending on how you use the speaker, how you use the amp, sorry, if you're driving the amp and you want it to break up a little bit, vintage, it's not vintage, that is the greenbacks, they just work so well. And they really are a part of that classic Marshall sound. If you need a bit more flexibility, vintage 30s are really hard to go by, to go past. They work really well. I think I've got the 70th anniversary in my 2x12, and it sounds just epic.
The difference between those two speakers is your standard 25 watt greenback has a medium magnet. I think it's 35 ounces. I'm not sure. The 70th anniversary is a 30 watt version with a heavy magnet, which I think is 50 ounces. And they do have the latter is slightly more efficient, will sound slightly louder, takes a bit more power. Whereas the greenback has a little bit more character at lower volume. So what he just said, some of those 2061s I've seen have a fully closed back, and some have a strip out of the back, so they're partially open. Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen them both. I don't know whether all the new ones are closed and some of the old ones were slightly open, but I've seen them both ways down the years. So, that would be either of those. If you like clarity and headroom and you turn the amp up, go for the 70th anniversary jobs, the heavy magnet ones. If you play a little quieter and you just want a bit more character for the cab,
greenbacks.
Or indeed, if you play loud and you want all of that woody, cone cry harmonic stuff that a greenback gives, get greenbacks. But they are many and varied beasts, are greenbacks.
Indeed.
Get any Marshall 412 or greenbacks, listen to each one. They'll all sound different.
Yeah, and also the cab will sound different when you're breaking in the speakers. So whatever speakers you get them in there, get some sort of loop, drop A, and play some sort of massive riffs, turn it up, and just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
Go away, have a cup of tea,
and you'll still be
hearing that when you come back.
Yeah.
That's
good luck. That's a great find. One of those,
well
MT. What
Lovely.
a great find.
Great cabs.
Last super chat, which means we will be able to dive into the main chat, Dan, which is quite nice. S. Crawford Music. He says, "Hi guys, do you have any favourite music or guitar related books? I love Bert Ligon's Connecting Chords with Linear Harmony.
Nice.
And Andrew Green's Jazz Guitar Structures. I keep coming back to them both."
Oh, lovely. Yeah. So, oh boy, Chord Chemistry, Ted Green.
Oh my God.
Amazing. And then the advancing guitar player, the advancing guitarist. By, and I'll tell you who that's by. I don't know why I can't remember his name. The advancing guitarist.
I bought Mickey Baker's complete course in jazz guitar once.
Mick Goodrick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really.
And what's the name of the book?
The Advancing Guitarist.
The Advancing Guitarist.
Yeah.
I do that every
page
day.
1 will change your life. If you're into that sort of thing.
I'd like to read it down.
Yeah, it's really great.
As I said, I bought Mickey Baker's complete course in jazz guitar once, and I got to the first page where he basically says, "Don't you dare turn this page unless you get all of this right." And I was like, "Screw you guys, I'm off," and I gave it away. Lots of people swear by that book.
Okay. Mickey Baker.
I swore at it. Yeah. Sorry,
I like that.
It's an old gag.
I like that.
Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which is not a guitar book. There is a great book called Zen Guitar, actually.
The Power of Now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
book.
I was going to say The Power of Now is the best guitar book I've ever read, along with The Courage to be Disliked.
Right.
Which is a retelling of...
It's all Courage to be Disliked for jazz players.
Yeah. Yeah, but my point is deeper than this, Daniel.
I understand.
Getting your brain in the right place is more important than where to put your fingers for me. So, yeah.
But if specifically, you want to go down the guitar route, there's some suggestions.
I just can't do it. Actually, Tom Wheeler, The Stratocaster Chronicles is one of my favourite guitar books.
Oh, wow.
As is Fender The Golden Age.
Oh, yeah.
As is a Dumble book, which is very hard to get. As is the Blackguard book. So for me, it's books about guitar rather than about guitars playing. I do have a copy of Ivor Morance's Complete Jazz somewhere, which I will give to you.
Oh, really? That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Tell you what I bought. I bought the... I went on to Rick Beato's site and bought the Beato book, which is really good.
Is it?
Really, really good.
I'm still trying to work out how he got that interview with Sting.
Well, he did...
Mr. Sting to us.
Mr. Sting. I met Sting. I took him sailing. Him and his band. It was great. I was... so Rick Beato did an interview with jazz guitar great... come on, someone's going to tell me now.
I don't want to mention anyone who's dead.
No. What's his name? Here we go. Someone tell me. Oh, they're taking a minute to come through. He did an amazing interview with... No, not Brian May. Come on.
In the meantime, I never know how to say this, and apologies. It's Joao Joao Fonseca. Pat Metheny.
Pat Metheny. Thank you, everyone.
Fat Pamini.
So he did an amazing interview with Pat Metheny, and I think once you've been able to interview Pat Metheny, you can pretty much interview anyone you like.
I don't wish to speak anything ill of Pat, but I think it's a bit easier to get an interview with Pat than it is with Sting.
Pretty hard to get an interview with Pat.
Sting's got armed guards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No disrespect to Pat. I just, Sting is like...
He's kind of a big deal.
He's like royalty. It's like getting an interview with Clapton, only harder.
Yes, many leather-bound books.
Yeah, so come on, Rick, get clappers on.
Of rich mahogany.
Let's see the cut of your jib. Let's see if you can get clappers.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Don't talk about the vaccine.
Or Gilmore. Anyway, Joao Fonseca says, hey Mick and Dan, I hope you're doing well. As much as I would like to support you and get me some of those beautiful teas, thanks to Brexit, I'm unable to do so. It gets crazy expensive to buy anything. Yes, to our EU friends, it is a pain in the butt currently, and it's actually not specifically to do with Brexit. It's to do with new VAT laws that the EU introduced, and it happens intra-EU as well, but it's particularly problematic from the UK. It's not that it's impossible, because it is totally possible. If you look at billion-dollar corporations like Thomann, for example, they can ship anywhere they like without any problems, because they've got the infrastructure and the admin facility to be able to do it.
And drones. They got channel hopping drones.
Unfortunately, we are still yet to traverse the admin. Now, if that was me and Dan being unable to do that, there'd be nothing surprising about that. The fact that it's Catherine who cannot traverse the admin means it cannot be traversed, is all I'm saying. So we will get a solution at some point. It's ironing out a little bit. There are basically, you've got us, you've got you, and then you've got three intermediaries that need to exist in order to make that happen seamlessly without you getting charged loads of extra money. So if you do buy anything from the EU, what we do is we email and we say, are you sure you want to do this? It's going to cost you loads of money. Please cancel your order. And most people go, actually, no, do you know what? It's a few bucks. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And some people go, thanks for telling me. Yes, I'll cancel my order. So yes, apologies. We wish it were different. It isn't. But thanks for the thought anyway. It's all good. It's all good. Now, I don't know if I agree with this. Somebody says here, Americans mostly hate Bruce Springsteen.
No.
He's beyond out of touch and he does not represent the common man's feelings, says Hit Norkel. I would think if an international superstar had any idea what any common man thought, I'd be frankly astounded.
Yeah, he's been Bruce Springsteen as we know him for a very, very long time.
What should we have for dinner today, Bruce? Oh, I don't know, Chateaubriand or lobster. I'm happy with either. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Luke McFarlane, we did answer your question. I'm pretty sure we answered your question. Pretty sure we answered your question. Let me go back to it and just make sure that we did. Luke McFarlane, 21st, yeah, JCM DSL 50. Yeah, we did quite a significant answer to that, as I remember. Yes, we said, good work, turn it up, enjoy it.
Actually, just a quick on the Bruce Springsteen thing, because I never really got into Bruce Springsteen until I saw him live. And when I saw him live, it blew my mind. Had the same experience with John
Williams.
No.
John
Schofield.
John Trousers?
John Trousers.
Yeah.
Never really got John Schofield. Saw him live and went, ah. And then after that, when I heard the recorded music, it's like everything made sense. Same thing with Bruce Springsteen. I saw him live, and then there was one album of his that I liked, which is Darkness at the Edge of Town. And I really liked that album. And he played that album in its entirety at the gig. Blew my mind. But after seeing him live, everything he did makes sense. I think some artists, you've just got to go and see them. It
Nice.
makes a big difference.
BV says, apparently Sting's publicist contacted Rick after seeing the channel's reach.
Oh, okay.
That's amazing. I mean, he is flipping giant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose he'd be on PewDiePie's channel next week then, will he?
Yeah. Sting there going.
No, that is amazing. I mean, that is really significant and an interesting view on how media is changing.
Yes.
In a big way.
Yep.
That's really fascinating. And congrats to Rick as well. I mean, he's built a phenomenal,
amazing.
Phenomenal channel over there. So awesome. Who else we got here then? I see. It was a political comment from Hit Oracle, apparently.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Tricky.
That's a bit whatever. Airfire Ed, hello. He says, hoping Santa Claus drops me both the D&M drive and the Harmonious Monk.
Have you been a good boy this year?
They're at the top of my list this year. Any suggestions for a budget-friendly condenser mic for Dad's recording studio? Check out SE Electronics.
Oh, yeah. They're great.
Check out Sontronics. I would pretty much stop there. Really, really good stuff.
Yep. Yeah, both awesome.
Yeah. Go for one, Ed, go for one that looks like a Neumann U67. You might need to Google that, but go for one that looks like that. They're usually pretty good.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Who else have we got here? Hi from Chile, says Lit Nature. Have you ever played a Tele with a Gibson style neck, 24 3/4?
No.
Bill Frisell was playing one very recently, or not,
Oh, wow.
not recently at all. Bill Frisell has one. That's quite an interesting proposition. That
Yeah.
would obviously change the tension on the strings, and it would also change where that mid-range sits significantly, I would have thought. How cool.
Very cool.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's kicking off about Bruce Springsteen. Oh dear.
Boy,
I don't know.
boy.
It's broken, isn't it? It's so broken when it comes down to all that. Stanislav Migra says, interview Tony Iommi and top Rick. We're not topping Rick anytime soon. Tony would be good. Add him in guitarist a few times.
I would love to interview him. What an amazing guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeremy Mod J says, how close are you to visiting Tom B in Nashville? So, some point next year, when we be done with all this foolishness, we will get to the States. There is a whole bunch of stuff that we need to do, but Nashville is at the top of that list, and interviewing Tom is at the top of the Nashville list. So we will get there. In 2022, we will get there.
Yeah, that would be good. Baz Vording says, Dear Leggins, I recently purchased a 2-Rock 212 with WGS 1265B speakers. I'm thinking of swapping one of the speakers. Do you have any recommendations? No, but I'll buy that other speaker off you when you do, so let me know.
Yeah, very good.
I love those speakers.
Yeah.
An EV would be the only thing I would change out for one of those.
Mm.
But I really, really genuinely love that speaker.
Yeah. Got a note from Graham Ward, who said, maybe Dan could give a shout out for my late brother, Peter Ward, who passed last November. He'd been a sound engineer for Jimmy Barnes, Tommy Emmanuel, Silverchair, and the Hoodoo Gurus, to name but a few. Yes, so shout out for your brother, Graham. I've seen... I haven't seen Jimmy Barnes live, but I've seen the rest of them. And because I remember a sound guy that we had doing some stuff for Max had done some work with, I know he'd done some work for Silverchair and Hoodoo Guru, so I don't know if it was the same guy. But yes, there we go, Graham. Hope you're great, mate, and sending you lots of love.
Indeed. Airvian says, what about getting the merch made by someone who has facilities in the UK and in the EU? It's not about that. It's way more complex than that. Even if we could do that, and we could... I think what a lot of people don't realise about TPS is that's our primary source of income is the merch, right? And that's how the channel stays afloat. So everyone thinks it's like YouTubers are rich because they get loads of money from, I don't know, product placement and YouTube ad money. We get zero money from product placement because we won't do it or take any money from manufacturers. YouTube ad revenue is really useful money, but we would be off the air if that's all the money we had. So the way we earn money is via merch, and the margin is good on it, which means that it supports the whole business. Mm. So that when you buy a t-shirt, yes, you're buying a t-shirt, it's kind of expensive, but that's what's paying for the show. I almost think of it like a subscription, you know. You could...
That's a lovely t-shirt you're wearing now, Nick.
It is. So if we lose margin on that merch sale, i.e. if we set up separate businesses in various places and it all becomes less profitable, it becomes much less tenable to do the show.
Yeah.
Secondly, Catherine runs the merch store with a zealousness rarely seen in humans in terms of...
To be fair, anything she runs is done with the zealousness rarely seen in humans.
Packaging, customer service, all of that stuff which we just cannot get from third parties. It just... At our level of business, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're enormous and you've got huge volume of business, then yeah, you can. But when you're at our level, like really small, we have to keep it small, and that's the only way it works. Never say never, maybe one day, but at the moment, and it's not like we're shut off to it. We do look at this stuff all the time. But at the moment, it doesn't make financial sense for us to do that. Therefore, we can't really do it. So
look at the grain around here.
We'll get there. Dan is uncomfortable with all discussions involving finance.
I know, I'm just looking at the grain around. Look how the line of the grain goes around here. Isn't that lovely?
Probably Honduran mahogany, Dan.
Well, I think that'd be us.
That'd be us. Thank you for being with us.
Indeed.
Thank you to BV massively.
Thank you, BV. You legend, superstar.
All the things. Thank you for Rick Beato for elevating the world of YouTube so that it's basically don't step in the YouTube star, which is what it used to be. Everyone's like, oh, you're on YouTube. That's a bit rubbish. Rick's out there proving he can mix it up with the big boys.
Indeed.
Rising tide lifts all ships. We're happy.
Indeed. Wonderful.
And thanks to everyone who's gone to thatpedalshop.com, thatpedalshowstore.com.
Our American friends.
Yes, our American friends who make all of that possible over there in the United States.
Yep.
yeah, we're grateful to be here.
We are indeed.
And we will be here on Friday with another band show talking about overdrive pedals, SD1 and OD9. How do they work in the band?
It was SD1 the tube screamer, isn't it?
And with that, we bid you adieu. Sing us out, Daniel.
My old man's a dustman, he wears a dustman's hat. He wears gold lining trousers and he lives in a council flat.